Good morning, folks. It's Groundhog Day. We're here in eastern Pennsylvania at Weather Trends 360 headquarters of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, about 250 miles west that way. We've got our little rodent here, famous rodent, and he's predicting 6 more weeks of winter. How he saw shadows, kind of a little bit of a mystery. We're going to walk over here. We're actually in the Warp 5 Weather Center, as we like to call it. A little more high-tech than Phil's cave, but hole, if you will. Chrissy's our VP of Client Services here, and again, we're pointing right here to Punxsutawney Phil, and I don't know, Chrissy, what do you think? Cloudy, snowy? How did he see a shadow? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Must have been the camera lights. What do you think? So today we have an exciting video for you. Figure it's Groundhog Day. Let's talk spring, summer. We're going to tap in a new partner of ours, Bill Fordham of CNS Grain Marketing. He's a 36-year farmer and now a 20-year grain marketing guy. So he's got tons of experience. We're partnered with him to help our farmer clients this year. We're going to tap Rich Woolley in, our chief forecaster, and bring him into the studio here to talk about what he sees across the U.S. Corn Belt, not only this spring, and you know what, we do agree with the Punxsutawney Phil that we do have some spring risk, cold, and talk about the summer. Then we'll bring in Pam and finish up with what we see down in South America, Argentina. So we have a cram-packed video here today for you. I think you're going to love it. So hang on, and let's go talk to Bill.
Well, good morning, folks. Again, as we mentioned earlier, we're really excited to announce a new partnership here with Bill Fordham of CNS Grain Marketing. We've been working with Bill now for a better part of a year. Come to love his reports that give some great grain marketing advice, and he's had some great experience with our weather information, so the partnership is kind of a match made in heaven. And so I'm going to turn it over to Bill and let him talk about his background and what all we're offering free to our customers here for the next 30 days.
Good morning. My name is William C. Fordham from Ohio, Illinois, which is in Bureau County, about 110 miles southwest of Chicago. In June of 1998, I started CNS Grain Market Consulting. C stands for corn and carrying, S stands for soybeans and serving. I produce several reports weekly, biweekly, and monthly. They all are designed to assist producers in making better informed marketing decisions. I use fundamental analysis and technical analysis to the best of my ability, always wanting to be a blessing and provide helpful information that will help producers sell in the top half of the annual price range. Since I was a farmer for 36 years, every mistake any farmer has ever made in marketing, I've been there and done that. I understand. And that sets me apart from most grain market analysts because of the fact that I farmed for myself for so many years.
Well, and again, another reason why I love this, because you're not really, I know you're close to Chicago, but you're not one of those Chicago guys in a stuffed suit. So appreciate the experience, and again, greatly appreciate your time here today, Bill. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Right,
good afternoon. This is Richard Woolley, Chief Meteorologist here at Weather Trends. Hey, let's go to the big board here. We're going to take a look at a pretty neat feature on the Weather Trends 360 website. Here we're looking at overall average temperature by day for the next several weeks, actually next several months, all the way out through the middle of May of 2017. Blue bars indicate below normal days, red bars indicate above normal days. You can see back here in December that cold snap we had before Christmas, really cold weather in there. We had a bit of a warm-up right around the holidays, and again, another cold snap in early January. Now, again, this is for the Corn Belt. You got different regions up here you can select for your either location or the greater Corn Belt, state, all kinds of choices and variations there you can go by. In addition to that, we can also look forward in time. So just taking a look at where we've been now. So lately, it's been fairly mild here at the end of January. Going into the beginning of February, we got another little bit of a cold snap right now on top of us right now. That's going to moderate as we go into next week. But look at this as we go out into late February, into March. We get into April. Look at this here toward the end of April. This is April 16th, tax day, or the day after tax day. We got a good span of cold weather right here in the Corn Belt in mid to late April. Got to watch out for that. I know a lot of guys are out planting in April. That becomes a situation. If you get any kind of early germination, it might get nipped a little bit in some areas, so just be careful. We got another little cold snap here late on the map here. This is actually early May, but another little cold snap there the week before Mother's Day. So just keep that in mind. We don't have a warm forecast for the spring of 2017. Going ahead, let's take a look at precipitation. Obviously, last year we had some wet weather in places early in the spring. This spring, this is March 1st through May 31st. This is precipitation versus normal. We're looking at fairly dry conditions throughout most of the Midwestern United States, all the way from Texas to the western Great Lakes, including most of the Corn Belt. What does a dry spring mean in March, April, May? Well, let's pop that ahead one more map here and take a look at what that does to temperature in the summertime. This is summertime temperatures. This is the average from June through August. You can see overall that dry ground of the Midwest sets the stage for warm temperatures in the summer. So again, another hot summer across the Midwest. That's going to add to some crop stress and some interesting factors we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Captain Kirk here with Rich Woolley, and just real quick, thought we'd do a recap of last summer again. We, as many obviously know, we talked about a really hot, dry summer, and certainly we had that throughout the Great Lakes Northeast and the Southeast. But interesting discussion we had here with the hundreds of our local farmers here in Eastern PA that we had the hottest summer on record here, going back 120 plus years, the most 90-degree days on record, over 40 of them, and the driest conditions in 19 years. Yet farmers still managed to pull out 134 bushel per acre yield. What that speaks to, again, in previous years, just going back 5 years, 10, 15 years ago, there were complete crop losses under less extreme weather conditions. So this really speaks to the advancement of hybrids. Again, they're certainly doing their jobs, and obviously the ability then to, greater, seed planting per acre is certainly, in part why we had higher yields, even here in Pennsylvania, where again, we had some of the most extreme conditions we've had ever. So again, little wetter in Illinois than we thought this past summer. One of the things in 2016 we were looking statistically at was that there's been only twice in history have we had 4 wet years in a row in Illinois, going back 125 years. So last year's odds of a 4th wet summer in Illinois was about a 93% chance that it would be dry, only a 7% chance that it would be wet. Now, it was certainly very dry in June, but then the rain certainly hit July 4th and kind of continued for parts of the summer here. So this area obviously was very wet. So this year, it'll be the 5th year in a row of being wet. That's only happened once in history, not even entirely once in history. So we're talking about a 97% chance that this is a dry year in Illinois. And I think Rich pointed that out earlier with some of your guidance. So statistically, that's what the odds are, that along with the other PDO AMO cycles, that this would be a dry season in 2017.
That's right, Bill. And the real neat thing about this chart, you can see how blotchy this precipitation is. It's really fine-tuned. It's really granular. Precip happens here and there. There can be dry spots in between. And one of the things we're working on now in 2017 here at Weather Trends is we're actually upgrading some of our precipitation display capabilities, where we're going from what we used to be able to do, this is a previous map, to something that we're working on going into the future here in 2017. It's not quite ready yet, but should be rolled out in another few weeks to a month. But you can see the much higher resolution here, much more detail about smaller areas of rainfall, more detailed. These are exactly the same maps, and you can see the differences. So it's quite exciting things coming up here.
Well, thank you, folks. I hope you enjoyed this segment here with Bill, Rich, and Pam. And God bless you, and let's have a great 2017 season. Today we're with senior meteorologist here at Weather Trends International, Pam Rametta, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about what's going on, a little concern in the markets about what's happening in Argentina with more rain like we had last year in Brazil. So I'm going to turn this segment over to Pam and let her do her magic.
So this week's issue of our weekly grains report was focusing on Brazil's soybean harvest. Now, so far this season, Brazil was off to a very fast and good start for their soybeans, favorable weather, early planting. However, now that we're getting towards maturity and harvest, wet weather has moved into the central and southern parts of Brazil. Major producing regions like Mato Grosso do Sul, and Paraíba, they've all been really wet as of recent weeks. We looked at the state of Paraíba, and conditions since late December through forecast through mid-February
are what is in 14 years for this. So
very wet, which is not good for the harvest. While it's so far, especially in states like Mato Grosso, it's ahead of the average pace for this time of year, it is well behind the expected pace of this year. Soybeans were planted very early due to favorable conditions, and they're just being delayed, and mature soybeans are just sitting in fields with cloudy, rainy conditions, and they're starting to see some damage.
Sorry to interrupt, Pam, but that's exactly what happened last year, right? So last year we had all this rain, and during the harvest, the critical, which harvest down in Argentina obviously is February, March, April timeframe. So again, kind of a similar scenario. Although right now, at least in Paraíba, it's a little bit worse. We may dry out a little bit here, but again, pretty wet. And I know if we drill into you mentioned this is specifically Argentina. Again.
Yes, down in Argentina, they've been very wet as well. Again, a favorable start to the season, but just like we saw last year, heavy rains moved in late in 2016 and in early 2017. Right in that core growing region, northern Buenos Aires, Cordoba, Santa Fe, right in here. You see that green bullseye, right? That's the core soybean region down in Argentina. So their soybeans, again, they're having planting issues. They're not able to replant damaged crops because it's past their ideal window. And any of the early maturing soybeans are just sitting in fields. There's definitely some risk for the safrinha corn. Definitely not as risky as we saw last year with the hot and dry conditions for the pollination of the safrinha corn. But as the soybean harvest gets delayed further, that just pushes planting of the safrinha corn further as well, and more into the time frame where rainfall is less prominent in those parts of Brazil.
So bottom line, it sounds like the big takeaway here is that yes, we're going to have some near term next weeks and couple months where there could be some news coming out of this region that would lead to some upward movement in the markets. This is definitely not the holy grail of perfect weather by any means. Nope. Probably not the worst as we had last year by any means, but so at least in the next month or two, certainly something to watch down here. So Pam, thank you for your time today, and good report.
Thank you.
Well, folks, we hope you found this information valuable today. I'd like to encourage you to look for some more of these reports. We're going to do the Bill and Bill show with Bill Fordham and myself each month. We're going to talk about the month ahead, what we see both in the weather front and both with Bill's grain marketing folks. So, again, a lot of exciting things planned for 2017. There are certainly some challenges. So God bless you, folks, and have a great day.